Question 5 is another global question, another must-be-true question. What must be true about any particular code? By this late in the game, we have a lot of previous work, so we can use that for eliminations. So proceed to answer choice A. There's only one digit between the 0 and the 1. Well, we've seen the 0 and the 1 next to each other in questions 3 and the sketch we just did for question 4. So that doesn't have to be true. There doesn't have to be exactly one digit between the 0 and the 1. Answer choice B says there's exactly one digit between the 1 and the 2. And that doesn't have to be true either. If you look back to the sketch for question 3, we have the 1 and the 2 right next to each other, so there's no digit between them. Now, if you look at the next 3 answer choices, they're all asking about there being at most 2 digits between 2 particular numbers. So answer choice C says there are at most 2 digits between the 1 and the 3. So if you want to see if this must be true, consider, have you ever put more than 2 digits between the 1 and the 3? Or was it ever possible to put more than 2 digits between the 1 and the 3? So if you look at the master diagram up top, you can see that you can place the 1 in the first place, and you could put the 3 at the end. That's acceptable according to that sketch. So C isn't the answer. Now D says there's at most 2 digits between the 2 and the 3. Again, if you look at your sketch, this time the second diagram, it's possible to put the 2 up front and put the 3 at the end. So that also doesn't have to be true, which means by default the answer is answer choice E. And we don't need to know why. It must be true because if the other 4 don't have to be true, this is our answer. But if you'd like to know, there are at most 2 digits between the 2 and the 4. Well, consider each of the parts of our master sketch. In the top part of the master diagram, the 2 is in the second spot. So there's no way to put the 4 3 spaces away from the 2. At best, you could put it at the very end, and then there would only be 2 spaces between them. So the top sketch follows the rule that there are at most 2 digits between the 2 and the 4. In the bottom scenario, the 2 and the 4 are right next to each other. So yeah, there are no more than 2 spaces between them, because in that scenario there are no spaces. So if in each of the scenario you can't put more than 2 spaces, that means that it is true. There must be at most 2 digits between the 2 and the 4. And that is it. The game is done. We move on to our next game.